Hello and welcome to this video on the text before and text after functions in Excel. These two functions are fantastic and make it very simple now to extract text from a cell, whereas previously we would rely on some gymnastics with the mid, find or substitute functions to achieve what is now relatively simple in most cases. And we are going to see multiple examples of these two brilliant functions. So let's dive in. I have this reference in column A and I want to extract the characters before the /. So in cell B2, where I want the results to appear, we're going to use the text before function, which does as it says, returns the text before a specified character or delimiter. Now with the text before function, it prompts you for 6 arguments, but only the first 2 are mandatory, and we only require the first 2 in this example. Now the syntax of text before and text after are the same. So you're learning 2 in 1, therefore covering them both in this video. And both these functions require the text that you're going to extract characters from, the delimiter or the character before or after to extract that text, and then optionally you can provide an instance number of that character, the match mode, whether you require a case sensitive match or not, and then 2 different ways of handling the scenario of what if the delimiter is not found. So back to this example, the text is in A2, comma, and the delimiter written as a literal here in the double quotes is the /. And as easy as this, that would extract the text before the /. Let's send that down. Easy, hey? In the past we would be using a left function along with find, and that was all good fun, but this is much easier. Jump into column C here. I now want the text between the 2 slashes. Now to do this, I'm going to combine text before and text after. Let me use the text after function to begin with, and I'll ask it to extract the text from column A or cell A2 as it is right now, and I'll use that / again. So I want to what's going on with my typing? I want to extract all the characters after that /. So that will bring us this so far to show it in that intermediate state. And then what we can use is the text before function around that. Really helps if I can learn how to type a bit better. Give it that text and I'll provide another /. So text after is extracting all the characters after that first instance of the /, and then text before then uses what we see as the second occurrence of that /, but is the only occurrence by the time text after has done its work. Okay, running this function, there is our result. Nice and easy, combining the 2 together. Not only are they great functions, but they can be even greater together. So that's some nice couple of examples to get the ball rolling here. But let's start exploring some of those additional arguments that both functions offer. So in this next example, we are in a table, and in column A, or the URLs column of this table, we have some URLs, some web URLs. And our goal is to extract the domain, the characters before the 3rd occurrence of a /. So this is a demonstration of the instance number argument primarily, but we're also going to see how it can handle errors. So let's get involved with this one. In cell B2 here, I'm going for text before because I want all the characters before that 3rd /. I'll click on the first instance of text. As I say, we're in a table this time to mix up our approaches, so we get the reference to @URLs, the URLs column. The delimiter is the /, and another comma brings us to the fantastic instance number argument. we would rely on the substitute function in the past to achieve this kind of magic. Now we can simply specify 3 for that instance number. I want that third slash and nothing else for the moment. I'll close that bracket and run this. The table will send it down and we have our results. We have the domain for each item except the 5th one, or the 4th one really, but it's in the 5th row of the sheet. And that is my root domain computergaga.com, my website. And because there is not an occurrence of a third slash there, we get the #NA error. Now you might be thinking, oh, we can just put the if_NA function or the if_error function around that. And you would be correct. But these functions can handle this themselves. They don't need those extra functions in the way that a VLOOKUP or maybe an old school index match would. So let's see a couple of ways of doing this. Now, first of all, going back to that first formula here, we could use the match end argument. Because if I put a comma, that brings me to match mode. We're not going to see any examples of matching case in this video, and it's probably self-explanatory if that's okay for me to say. So I'm going to put a comma to bypass that. It's optional. I'm not interested. But this we are. Match end. What happens if we do not see the character that you're asking us for? So the third occurrence of the slash right now. What do we do about it? Do you want to use a wildcard match? So if we don't find it, do you want to do this match to end? We'll just use the end of the string as the delimiter in place of the fact that it couldn't find one. So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to choose number 1 there and run with this. And what it does is it returns the domain for us. So right now that is perfect. That is what I wanted. That is a great alternative to the error message. But let's play devil's advocate a little bit here and imagine that that wasn't what I wanted. And if you do not find that slash, I want to do something different. In that case, going back to the formula, I could ignore the match end question if I backspace that number 1 and put in a comma, and we can use the if not found. So now we can do anything. I could write a different formula, I could display some text like root domain or something. What I'm going to do here, just for a simple example, is just return an empty string. Something that many of you will be familiar with using your if functions and that kind of stuff. And if I press enter, it now returns this empty string. Just as a demo of the fact that we could have done many other things. Whereas the built-in match end will use that end of string in place of the delimiter that it couldn't find. Okay, final couple of examples here to see some other cool things with these 2 functions. And our first goal here is to return the name of this worksheet into a cell. So first of all, before we do the TEXTAFTER function, which is the one we require, we're going to look at a function called cell. And when I say we're going to look at it, we're not going to look at it much. That's not the focus of this video. I have another video on that, but we will require this one. The cell function returns information about a cell. So it asks for the info type and then the reference. I'm not going to provide a reference. I'm quite happy with the current cell it's in, which will be its default behavior. I don't have to reference some other cell. But for the info type, I'm going to ask for the file name. So what this will do, if I close bracket and enter this, is return the whole file path. So you can see the complete path there, including the folder it's in, the name of the file, and also the name of the sheet, which is getFileName. So for us to extract the sheet name from that, we just simply want the characters after that closing square bracket or that angle bracket. So if I come back to that formula and seeing what that produced, we're going to use TEXTAFTER, and the delimiter is quite simply that closing kind of square bracket. And as easy as that, we've got the sheet's name. Absolutely fantastic. I have another video on this channel of how to do that in a previous version of Excel, and it's not quite that straightforward. But let's take that up a notch and we want to extract the folder that this workbook is saved within. Now let's just quickly remind ourselves of what we're dealing with. If I use the cell function and bring in the file name again, so that we can see what we're looking at. And we can see that we want everything between 2 slashes again. Not the first time we've done that in this video, but there's multiple instances of a slash this time, because I don't know how deep this file path and the structure goes. So really what we want to do is extract the text between the second from last slash and the last slash. That is really our goal. Now the approach I'm going to do here is text after. Text after that second from last slash. So coming into here, you're about to see how easy this is, which is incredible. Text after, delimiter is going to be the slash, comma, and then we've got this instance number, which we saw in the previous example. But what we didn't see is that we can put in negative values here. So if I put -2, I'm saying going 2 back from the end. How incredible is this? I can close off the bracket there and run it, and I've got all the text from after that second from last slash. Now that we have this, as you're probably thinking at this point, we can just use text before the first occurrence of a slash. So coming back to this, and I'll wrap text before around this, and I'll ask it to look for a slash. Nothing else is required here. I know there will be one, and now we have the folder that this workbook is saved within, returned to a cell. So these were a few examples to try and demonstrate the different arguments and the different kind of functionality that the brilliant text before and text after functions provide us. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel to get the latest Excel and Power BI tutorials. Take care, and I will see you again soon.